Hello, welcome. I just got my schedule for school. Oh no. I think something that I definitely don't like about going back to school is getting them schedules. Definitely don't like that. Hello, welcome. I'll start here in a few minutes. Just want to see if there's going to be a few more people that's going to join. I know it is, it's Sunday and well, now it's Monday, but people have school tomorrow. So I definitely am going to go live again tomorrow, especially for people that aren't able to join tonight. I will upload that schedule yet again. On weekdays, I go live at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So just going to wait a few more minutes. I probably will be live today for a half hour to an hour, I would say, depending, but we will see. How was everyone's day today? Mine was a little bit, I would say, packed a little bit. I definitely had a lot to do today, but yet again, it was kind of relaxing, I would say. I've had writer and art block for 3 weeks and I'm done. Absolutely felt. I used to write a lot of comic books when I was younger. I would say it's definitely something fun to do, but when that comes to art block and writer's block, it definitely gets in the way. What helps me is to write like miniature stories to help maybe put in a storyline, especially if you were writing a full-on comic. That definitely helps a little bit. Brainstorming, writing random words down definitely helps a lot too with writing stuff like that. And when it has something to do with art block, I would definitely use either Pinterest or something else where you can look at other people's art. That definitely will inspire you to add something more to your comic, especially if it's something that you feel like you probably wouldn't have added at all. But writer's block, that one's definitely a hard one. But to help with that, what I would do is definitely write some short stories. Definitely helps a little bit. And also trying to work on it every single day. Definitely very, very helpful. I know sometimes that is definitely very hard and it does get in the way at times, but trying to push through it and trying to work on it every single day, coming up with ideas or even looking at other people's ideas definitely really helps with that. Alright guys, so I'm going to work on the rocks today. Definitely, I don't know, I feel like it's most of the drawing at that point. Definitely because there's a lot of rocks, a lot of boulders going on. But this is definitely going to be one of the easier ones, I would say. I'm pretty much just going to use a little bit of gray and some shadowing and maybe some moss as well. I do love to draw moss on rocks. So let me just make sure there's nothing on this layer. I'm sure there isn't, but just in case, I'm going to merge that down. And I'm going to try to find that perfect brown color. Or grayish, I would say. Brown or gray. Somewhere in between there. That actually might be a perfect color. That is actually hilarious. Hello, welcome. Nice to see that there's more people joining here. I might keep this as a color, but I'm not exactly sure. It might be a little bit too light to what I'm looking for, but I might keep that. I'm not exactly sure. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing, Patrick. Thank you so much. No, like I actually want to. From seeing my schedule, I really do. You know what? It's honestly not that bad, trust me. As you get older, the years with high school definitely gets very fast. It goes by really fast. If you are new here, my name is Mochi, and I love digital art. I like to go live like every other day. Sometimes I do mix up my schedule a little bit or switch it up, but I really do love digital art pieces. This is one of the illustrations I am working on right now. She's a Venus flytrap character, and we are on the road to 2K. So if you love art and you love to communicate and connect, feel free to subscribe and like the stream. Alright, I'm kind of liking this warm brown color. It definitely feels like it definitely would be the right color there. So I'm definitely going to use this. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use for the shading yet, but we're just going to go with this for now. Making sure that everything is solid, there's no white peeking through. I was able to help my writer's block a bit by making a short meme animated based on a future scene I feel like I would rush to get to. I do not want to rush it. Absolutely don't rush projects like that. Just kind of enjoy it. Sit back. I know sometimes it is really hard to be patient with certain projects, especially if it's art related, but it does take time, and sometimes you just have to give it that time. Just making sure I get every single area here. It's going to be a lot of erasing to do, but that is perfectly fine by me. If anyone is wondering, I am using IBS Paint. Alright, so here goes the hard part. This is where we have to erase all of the access. Alright, just making sure that there's no white or anything peeking through there. I feel like there might be a little bit for this one, but that is perfectly fine. You know, that is perfectly fine. I do live streams around 6 o'clock every single day, so don't worry about that. I'm just catching up today and doing it later because I haven't been live for I think 2 days. So even with school in the way, I've made sure that everybody is able to join at a reasonable time. So, I mean, that's perfectly fine. If that time does not work out, yet again, I will mix around the schedule a little bit. Technical college, composition, lunch, college. That seems like a lot. That is a lot there. One of my most terrifying moments was when I was doing art school and stopped liking art because of it. Yeah, I definitely don't like art classes or anything like that. I've never really taken art school, but art classes are not for me. I feel like they don't really let you mess around with your creativity a lot, but I don't know, that could just be me. Who knows? I feel like as an artist, it's definitely good to let other artists, especially beginners, kind of mess around with their creativity. They kind of find out what type of artist they are, whether they like to paint or sketch most of the time or do digital. It's good to kind of experiment with that, and I feel like that kind of gets in the way. Like again, guys, I'm probably only going to be live for a half hour or so. Not too long, but I will be going live again tomorrow at a reasonable time. I just wanted to catch up on my schedule a little bit. Yes, Pinterest is definitely a very good app for artists. I feel like I learned a lot on Pinterest as well. YouTube definitely helped me out a little bit, but Pinterest definitely is my go-to, and always will be. Just trying to make sure that I get every little ridge and corner. I don't want to miss any spots. Sadly, I wasn't able to make it home in time for the stream earlier. I kind of just got home not even a half hour ago. Well, kind of a half hour ago. But sadly, I was out all day. But I don't have anything to do tomorrow, so I'll be able to stream at a decent time. After school hours, of course. I do apologize if I do go quiet here and there. Sometimes going quiet helps me focus a little bit more, but I am okay with talking now and then as well. Just trying to figure out where this line is. It's kind of hard to see what the line is at for this rock, but think I'm figuring it out slowly. I'm going to get this spot right here, and I'm going to move down to the lower area. Have you ever had sausage and sauerkraut? Absolutely. My parent actually, I don't know, he makes it a lot, I would say. Definitely. I feel like I've had it a lot, though. I'm not exactly sure, but I definitely had it a lot growing up. So I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to, but it definitely is it's a yummy, quick meal. So I guess it doesn't really bother me too much. This is the part that I'm definitely going to struggle with a little bit, at least with this one specifically. Definitely going to be a little bit harder to make sure there's no white peeking through. I have it all the time. I remember when my brother was about to throw some hands when someone said the sound of pickled cabbage was disgusting. It actually tastes really good. I don't know why a lot of people don't like it, because it's honestly not that bad. It honestly tastes like a pickle to me, besides the cabbage sounding part. I feel like I taste more pickle than cabbage. I might have to reline some of this just so you can see the body more. I feel like the background kind of blocks out some of that line work, but we will see. I'm not exactly sure on that yet. Alright. It's like with pickles, you don't taste all that much cucumber. Absolutely, I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely gonna have to reline some of this, but that is okay. I think that is okay for now. Let me get some of this down here. These as well, the little pebbles, I'm definitely gonna have to reline some of that, or make it darker, I would say. But I usually do that with every single piece. I reline it just so the background doesn't look like it's overlapping any lines. Yeah, including OCs and stuff like that is definitely one of the main things that I guess you should do with certain comics. It definitely helps kind of discover a little bit more about maybe their backstory if you're making a story about them, and that can absolutely help with art block. Although I don't really have any OCs, I probably did when I was younger, but I don't know, maybe I'll have to make one here. I guess one of the things that is going to make this take a little bit longer is having to erase that color on top of the plants and stuff, but I'm sure that it won't be too long, and it definitely will be worth it because I definitely do like drawing rocks and stuff. I feel like it brings the piece together, especially when you add plants and stuff around it and moss. So we'll see how that looks. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I've never been able to make like backstories or anything like that for my OCs when I was younger, but I don't know. Maybe it's just not something that I really liked to do. I kind of just liked randomly drawing at times and not really giving much of thought to it. And that's kind of what I still do. I don't really feel the need to think about it too much. Sometimes I just draw a base and just start randomly drawing something. That's kind of what I did with this a little bit, but I did look up certain plants and stuff that I kind of felt like I did want to draw. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here. Actually, maybe a little bit smaller. Don't want to see any of that white peeking through. A tiny bit is okay because you can't really see it from far away. But still trying to be precise with it. Once I lost my sketchbook for a month, my brother said I acted like a drug addict trying to find it. Honestly, I would too. Especially if I still was drawing in my sketchbook. Sadly, I don't as much anymore. But even if I lost one of my sketchbooks, not being able to look back at the progress and stuff would absolutely kill me. I would hate to lose one of them because I kind of see it as memories. And it's definitely crazy to look back at it and be like, wow, that's where I started at, and this is where I'm at now. Definitely going to have to reline a lot after I'm done with these rocks. But that is okay, like I said. Yeah, that's exactly what I do as well. There's probably a lot of drawings on my page that I've definitely drawn a lot. Considering that I don't draw in a sketchbook anymore, I do that same thing that you're talking about, digital. Like, there is many times I've drawn Rapunzel, so many times I've drawn Alice, but it definitely helps see my progress as well. And it kind of helps me with my creativity, I would say. Hello, welcome, welcome. Definitely going to need to use a smaller brush here, but I'm going to get these done real quick so I can at least have this stuff erased and just focus on that straight line. Alright. Still need the smaller one. I feel like there's going to be that white poking in no matter what, but this is why I do want to reline some stuff so it looks so much neater. Can't really tell you why I draw my OCs and stuff first. Or not OCs, my characters. Definitely can't tell you why. I feel like it's easier to get that process done and then just work on the background, but there's definitely a lot of struggles with that. I just feel like it's easier to get the character design done first and just work on the background, because at that point it's kind of just a relaxing process. Absolutely agree with that. I do agree with that. But there is some artists that aren't really like that, I would say. I don't know really how to explain it, but that's definitely very close to what most artists would feel with their OCs. I probably will be live for definitely not a couple more minutes, but I would say maybe 20 something more minutes, I would say. So it's definitely a decent amount of time there. That way I still get a good amount done. And like I said, I will be live again tomorrow around 6 p.m. I was thinking the other day about some of those Halloween ideas for Halloween time, and I remember that I did add Wednesday on there. Someone that I don't know if someone suggested that or I added it on there, but I'm definitely excited about that. I hope that maybe it'll be chosen for one of the polls, because considering that new season, or half of it, came out, I feel like that would definitely, I don't know, bring up my creativity a little bit more as well. Definitely excites me a little bit to do stuff new instead of repeating a lot of the stuff, but I also have some pieces or characters on there that I've drawn before, probably years ago, I would say, and that will also be okay if I drew them too, mainly to look back at progress and stuff. But I am really excited, and hopefully September comes really fast, because I am definitely super ready to do those polls for you guys. I also want to do another art contest, maybe. Probably around, I'm not exactly sure. Definitely not September. I feel like it would be more fun to do it in October, because I want to see what you guys come up with for spooky, like Halloween type drawings. I definitely want to see something like that from you guys, so I'm kind of excited about that too. Hopefully I can get that up and going around October time. Honestly, Monday always scares me more. Agreed. The last one was really fun. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Hopefully we can get some more people in it. Maybe, hopefully. I definitely love drawing creepy things and anything Halloween related. I love just characters like that. I know there is a huge chunk that love drawing spooky and horror themed drawings. So hopefully I can get some more people in that around Halloween time. Hopefully. We will see. Hello, welcome. Nice to see that there is still more people joining. If you are new here, my name is Mochi, and I love drawing illustrations. I am a digital artist here on YouTube, and we are on the road to 2K. So if you love art, or just even connecting with people like me, content creators, I definitely love to connect with you guys. So if you really love something like that, or even want a spot where you can share your own art, feel free to subscribe and like the stream. I have a community post where you guys can post your own art, or even promote your own channel if you would like. I love to see the art. I love to see it. Honestly, have an obsession with drawing scary things. I used to as well when I was younger. I think I kind of still do in a way, but who knows? I really have no idea. For some reason, I can't access your community post. That is interesting. I wonder why that's like that. I don't know if that could be something on my end, or who knows. I could try to look into that a little bit more. Maybe it could be something with the community post settings, but let me know if you can access it the next time I go live. Hopefully it's not something on my end, because I do love to, communicate with you guys in there. definitely look at some of your guys' art as well. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to rely on all of this. That is perfectly fine, but definitely a lot of work. Some of the smaller plants up here are going to be very hard to erase, especially since there is so many smaller corners that I have to get into. Yet again, I do apologize for going quiet, you guys. Sometimes it helps me focus. The last time I tried doing a detailed style drawing, I nearly threw my drawing tablet. Definitely felt. I used to do some detailed drawings, sort of, but it definitely is a struggle and is very time consuming. But I definitely feel like I kind of found my style a little bit, so I'm not really interested much in realism anymore. But now and then I'll kind of put that in, my drawings and stuff like that. I'm kind of working more on realism as I'm progressing with my style of art. So who knows, you guys? Who knows? Yet again, my art style is constantly changing, constantly. Especially when it has to do with backgrounds. I feel like I've definitely progressed so much more with backgrounds. This will be kind of messy for a little bit here as I'm working on the rocks. Still do have to reline a lot of it. Yeah, definitely adding detail is something that I really do love. I do love simple art pieces, and I do adore the simple kind of art style that a lot of people tend to do. But adding detail it's fun. It's cool to look at, especially if you're adding more detail. The more you add, the more cool it kind of looks. We have a sleepover for 2 nights. That sounds awesome. Alright, let me get these plants over here. We have about maybe 10 to 15 more minutes on the live. And like I said, I will be live again tomorrow, so don't worry. I know sometimes I do go live every other day, but like I said, I've skipped maybe a few lives, mainly because I've gotten home pretty late and since school started. So I would say I definitely will go live again tomorrow. And I will keep reposting those schedules for you guys as well, just so you guys don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom to find the schedules. I think I've only watched them maybe a few times, but they are a pretty cool channel. I sadly don't watch YouTube as much as I used to, but it's alright, I would say. I feel like I got definitely so much used to doing my own content that I'm kind of just not really focused on watching other people's content right now. My mom loves them. What I like about my style is that since I'm also a horror artist, my style is simple and dynamic, but I can add hyper-realistic stuff to make it even creepier, and I love that. That's kind of the same thing with me, I would say. If I'm trying to make something so much more horror-related, I feel like at some point I tend to make it so gory that it's kind of hard to show stuff like that to you guys. Mainly because I don't want to get in trouble for that. But I would say I'm definitely pretty good with horror art. Just sometimes I have to tone it down a little bit, and I feel like that's also another reason why I'm excited for Halloween time. I get to experiment more with that horror-related stuff. Still currently erasing this one plant here. Definitely going to have to work on relining this one the most because it is smaller and I want the details to stand out still. See his organs and he's so fun to draw. That sounds really fun. I love that idea. It honestly kind of sounds like something I probably would have drawn at some point, but who knows. I mean, you feel like you run out of ideas, but at some point you realize that there's so much ideas that, you literally can't run out. It feels like that sometimes, especially when you have art block. There's probably so many things that I probably haven't drawn yet that I can't even think of at the moment. And that's kind of the fun part when you're onto your next drawing and you're trying to figure out what you want to draw next, and you just get that random idea in your head. It makes the piece feel so much more fresh and really fun, especially when it's something new. Circuits are mixed with organs. That sounds really fun too. I love interesting pieces like that, especially when it has to do, the gory. Even if it's like a cute drawing and it has a little bit of gore to it, I absolutely love that as well. Alright, we're getting closer to being done with this area right here. Definitely feel like this area down here is a little bit lighter than the main color itself, but I will be adding shading and stuff, so I feel like that doesn't really matter too much, but it definitely is bothering me a little bit. I also mainly use graphite pencil right now for my pieces. I used to really love using like watercolor and stuff like that, but for some reason I've been using a lot of graphite. I feel like it kind of leaves like that grainy texture behind, and it just kind of looks good to me for some reason. I kind of like that grain look to my pieces. Yes, absolutely. I love that texture. I feel like at some point that smooth looking texture is just, well, it's not even really a texture at that point, but definitely didn't really like it as much as I used to. I feel like it didn't really give much to the piece, and it kind of just made it look more plain, but that grain look definitely gives the piece something. I don't know what it is, but it definitely gives it something. Why aren't you reading my comment? I'm not trying to ignore you guys, trust me, but sometimes I look away from the screen. So as the comments start going more and more away or down, I would say, it's definitely harder to read and catch up a little bit. So I don't do it on purpose, trust me, I don't. Sometimes it's just hard to catch up a little bit. Hello, welcome. Alright, just a couple more minutes, guys, and then I will sadly have to leave you. But trust me, I will be live again tomorrow. So don't be upset, I will be live again tomorrow. Just to make up from that time loss, and especially with the schedule changing. I almost dropped my pencil there. Trying to get as much done as possible. I'm not worrying about it too much, mainly because I probably will be getting a lot done tomorrow as well. But definitely want to catch up a little bit. Loving how the rocks are looking so far, but I'm sure I'll probably love it so much more after I add a little bit of texture to it. I'm not exactly sure what these little spike thingies are. I just felt like she needed something, including like spikes. I was actually going to erase that design specifically, but I decided to just keep it. Just doing little by little on each side. This little small area is definitely killing me, but I'm getting it done, and I think that's all that really matters right now. Let me get this little area done. Alright guys, so this is what I got so far. Gotta reline a lot of it, especially, you know, the plants and stuff, so it looks so much more neater. But I'm probably going to finish erasing this a little bit off live. I will be live again tomorrow, like I said, and I will post the schedule for that as well. Just in case some of you guys don't get the notification and stuff, I started posting the schedules mainly for that because some of my subscribers don't get notifications. But this is what I have so far. Still kind of plain yet, didn't really have much, you know, details going on yet, but it is going. You guys just have to trust the process, and at some point I'm sure you guys would love it as much as I love it. Thank you for whoever joined the live tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you all so very much.